So you've just got your orders, you are relocating to Washington State, maybe you're PCSing to Joint Base Lewis McChord, and you've decided you do not want to live on base. In fact, you want to purchase a house before you get here or shortly after you arrive. This is the guide. I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know before you get here and how to land smoothly into your new home. So if you can't see the house before you physically purchase it, one of the other things you can do is actually fly out during an inspection period of time. So what I'll have people do is we'll do all of our video tours. We figured out which house you like, you put an offer on it, sight unseen. However, we usually have about a 5 to 10 day period of time where we're gonna plan to do an inspection. That means we're bringing in a professional to look through the whole house, make sure it's everything you want. And during that period of time, you'll book a flight, get on a plane, get out here, see the home, and make sure it's what you want, and then go home and, continue packing, doing what you need to do as this house continues to sell. So that is a great way to keep you protected, secure the house you want, and make sure the whole thing is as seamless as possible, especially if you're moving from out of area. The other thing that's important to know when you move and you buy a home, if you haven't already bought one, you may not realize that your mortgage payment doesn't actually happen right away. Your first mortgage payment is usually in about 60 days. It'll be on the first of the second month after you move in, and that can help too with your moving expenses or figuring out your rent. I've also found people will purchase a home and not necessarily move into it for a couple of weeks, but you're not having any double payment again because you're skipping 1 month. So that is helpful as well for your move if you're trying to arrange the timing of your move and when maybe your BAH kicks in and you're just trying to figure all that out. Keep in mind that you have that extra period of time that you won't have any mortgage payment. So one of the biggest things I see people make the mistake of when they are relocating over to JBLM is not taking into consideration the areas around the base and as far out as you can go just based off of traffic and your commute into work. Oftentimes you'll have a partner or spouse maybe that's moving with you, potentially kids in the equation, that you want to make sure everybody has a really comfortable pace of life once you get here, and you can't always tell that just from an online house listing. So one of the things I always do with my clients is do a really deep dive into everything you're wanting in terms of the way you live your life and how we can make sure that the neighborhood we find works for you. So do inventory on that yourself right now as you are trying to figure out your move. Figure out what are some of the things you really like. Do you enjoy entertainment? Are kids and parks nearby important to you? Is a suburb important to you? Or do you like more of an urban feel? All those factors are going to help figure out which neighborhood is the best for you once you get into the area. The other thing on that is figuring out your commute time. So traffic in our area can be a little bit crazy, especially as you come in through Tacoma, going south to the base. And so if you are open to maybe a little bit longer commute or you're sensitive to commute time and you want to have a shorter drive, it's important to know what your tolerance is for that drive time because that's going to help us again figure out the different areas you're looking in. I found that neighborhoods such as Spanaway and Puyallup are amazing for people because it's a very nice suburb feel. It's a little bit quieter, except the traffic to get to the base can be a little bit longer. And so just trying to figure out what that commute time is for you and what makes the most sense is going to really help on your move and figuring out the logistics there. And then let's talk logistics because figuring out how to make your move, see a house, not physically be here, all that can be really overwhelming sometimes. So let's assume first you've put together your priority list, we've had a conversation about it, or maybe you've connected with a realtor that's going to be by the base that you're moving to. And once you've done that, we're going to figure out showing time and looking at properties. So oftentimes I see that one spouse or one partner is able to come out to the area for like a weekend and look at properties, but not always is that a possibility. And so if it's not, what we do is a lot of video tours, and that is looking at the neighborhood just as much as the house itself. We can do FaceTime. I mean, there's so many opportunities that we have with technology, but it is important that you partner with a realtor who actually knows how to do video walkthroughs and relocation because it does function so much differently. And you want to make sure that when you get there, the house doesn't smell like dog or something and that you've actually been sold the house that you want to move into. So start early. As soon as you get your orders and you know your time frame for moving, even if it's going to be a year out, gotta start actually searching for homes and doing your research. I would highly recommend partnering even as early as a year because then you're going to have that much more time to explore areas, really get familiar with the realtor who you're partnering with, and make sure that the home that you ultimately find and the neighborhood you find is something that you really like. What I sometimes do as well is have my clients fly out well in advance of when they're ready to purchase. We just go drive around and look at different neighborhoods. And that way, when they are ready, oftentimes the home will pop up in a neighborhood they've already seen in person. And so it makes the process a little bit easier for them to know, yes, for sure, I like this home because I've already actually seen the neighborhood. And if you have more questions about purchasing a home, maybe you're relocating because of the military or otherwise, check out some of my guides below or reach out to me directly. And if you're moving to Washington State, welcome. Hopefully we can connect, and I'd love to be your resource.